2 penalties yesterday in Coppa Shell, 1 penalty in Pirelli, Trofeo Pirelli, and there goes the safety car. They must stay their side of the grid until they cross over the start-finish line, then they're free to start the weaving, and expect there to be some wide line look from Mitchell Green.
Trying to carry as much into the start as he possibly can. So Mitchell Green and Jan Bernier side by side on the front row of the grid then. And Andrew is absolutely right. Penalties were awarded yesterday for drivers not being in the formation that they need to be as we get the green flag. And let's go racing then. It is Coppa Shell. Great start from Mitchell Green, who nailed it absolutely perfectly. Jan Bernier slots into that P2 position as they make their way uphill for the first time of asking. Drivers further back trying to make moves. Often on the opening lap, it's the time to jostle and it's the time to do it. And they continue to climb uphill here as we pick up on some of those that go side by side, as I say, on the opening laps. Oh, big avoidance there because as the Jared Pilicek car turned in, there was another car on the inside ready to try and make a move. I think that was Mike Chen. So, at the moment, all is looking pretty good for Mitchell Green then, who yesterday I was really impressed with him. Today, he's maintained that trajectory of just knowing when to go and to get his nose in front and keep it there. And whilst Jan Bernier is certainly keeping him keen, that's for sure. Jan Bernier, in the early stages of this race, this is when he tries to probably need to find a way past Mitchell Green if he possibly can. Will he have a go going into the stadium section? Possibly so. Never, ever, ever discount Jan Bernier, the Ferrari of Seattle driver. Certainly a race winner and a very, very good driver. So is he close enough? I don't think he is to have a go at Mitchell Green on the inside going into this turn 11. So Mitchell Green then leading the first lap and about to cross the line after the kink that will come to the left-hand side of your screen. And the first lap will be put in the book of this Shell and Shell Am race. Mitchell Green
Chuck Whittle,
and Chuck Whittle
got the better of Brad
P3.
Evans in turn 2. So he looked like he had the inside line through turn 1 and up at turn 2. Chuck Whittle just got underneath Evans, and in fact those leading 3 have gapped the others by about 1.4. There's only 1.2 over the lead 3 and then a gap of 1.4. So they're looking to get away and obviously hoping that Evans, for whatever reason, he's lost that pace just off the start. They might be able to run away from the rest of the pack.
It was a good start too for Bruce Cleveland, who made up places as well. He's up to P5. So lots going on in the early stages of this. Gabe Harib, of course, he's leading in Shell Am, but look how he is being chased down by Jeff Nunberg. Now, Gabe Harib has got Osvaldo Gallo and Alberto Duran and Brian Waldersdorf ahead of him. Now, they are all Shell drivers, and you can see how the 2 Shell Am drivers have kind of broken away from the rest of the pack, which is led by Paul Lynn, then it's Owens and Herfield. But Gabe Harib is really having to drive defensively here because Jeff Nunberg is utterly determined to get by the 102 car of Ferrari of Atlanta. Now, Andrew, you have been really, really good in explaining to us just how critical but difficult it is to try and place an overtake here at the Sonoma Raceway. And there's kind of only a couple of places where it's on. Where is going to be the best opportunity for Jeff Nunberg to try and do it?
So yesterday Nunberg did it down at turn 11, which is what's coming up at the end of the S's down the back here. It's the big braking zone. He's not close enough at the moment. If he wants to get up underneath Thrib, he's going to need to be a little bit nearer than that. So he made a decisive pass on the brakes down here. What's interesting as well is, although they qualify in the same session, some of these drivers who are in Coppa Shell Am would have been, let's say, 10th on the grid in Coppa Shell overall, but they then split the grid, so they start behind them. So actually the Coppa Shell Am guys, the front runners, are a bit quicker than some of the guys who are at the back of Coppa Shell. So that's where this traffic situation comes in. We saw that play into people's hands yesterday. So, you know, he'll be looking. The other thing you do is make a driver drive on his mirrors. So you just want to keep showing the nose of the car left and right. Even if you're not serious about a pass, let them think you are. So you fill those mirrors up. They start driving on the mirrors. They're looking at traffic in front, looking at you in the mirrors. They make a mistake, boom, there's your opportunity. You've kind of got to force the opportunity.
Mitchell Green has opened up a gap of 1.2 seconds over Jan Bernier in the Shell race. There's Jan Bernier, very right-hand side of your picture, ahead of Chuck Whittle running in P3. So Mitchell Green is really doing a good job here. He's just got his head down, he's focusing, he's concentrating. Now, the thing is, how much of an advantage is it, Andrew, when you lead in the field, you've got a completely clear track ahead of you, haven't you? And you can just focus and concentrate on what you need to do. You ain't going to worry about anybody else.
I think if Jan Bernier was going to make a move, he needed to make it immediately. You know, you need to keep that pressure on because Mitchell Green is obviously feeling, look at the difference. really good in terms of pace. He's gapped them big time already. And if you look in the background, Brad Evans has come back to the back of Whittle. So Whittle had a bigger gap. Might see a move here on the brakes as well. Coming in hot, but not quite close enough. That's Ott trying to make a move on Bilecek in front. Looked aggressive, didn't. That's what I mean about driving on the mirrors. Stick the nose out anyway, even if you're not going to do it. But don't then compromise your exit speeds. You do it early on the brakes, slot back in the racing line, and that just makes the guy behind get a bit jittery. He's all over him. Look, he's having another look here. It's going to be tricky to make that work. Try and get a better exit out of turn 2 if you can. And then up through 3. We know really the best place to try and make that pass is on the run from Carousel down towards turn 7. But he's looking racy.
Is it true what they say, that the more you harry the driver in front, what you're trying to do is break their concentration to get them almost to provoke a tiny mistake?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just keep piling that pressure on. It's always nice to chase because you can see what the other driver is doing in front. When you're out front, you're trying to sight your turning points, your apexes, your clipping points and everything. Look at this now. Good exit speed. Going to try and find a way past Bilecek on the brakes, down into the braking zone at turn 7. Looks to the inside line. This time, is he serious? Bilecek thinks he is and almost gives it some room, but not enough, and he ends up over the grass. So he made Bilecek think he was coming, but then Bilecek thought no and turned across him. So good avoiding action from the two of them, but...
And it's playing now into the hands of Roy Carroll, look, who's able to join this battle. It becomes a three-car party that he's going on then, because the more they fight ahead, it just plays into the hands of the guy that we're on board with right now, the Foreign Cars Italia driver, Roy Carroll. So Roy is able to get on terms. Roy currently running P8, but he can sense the opportunity that a P7 or maybe even a P6 might be within his grasp. But he hasn't got it all his own way because he's got John Lennon behind him and Kevin Orsini and Lisa Clark not so far behind as well.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, there is a lot going on. So what we want to watch now is whether or not Gary Ott's got the pace to close that gap straight back to Bilecek. If he has, then he's got a lot more pace. So Ott applied the pressure. Bilecek nearly moved out wide, but it wasn't enough. Ott then went across the grass and lost the gap back. He was all over the back of Bilecek. If he can close that down quickly again, then we know he's got the pace to try it. But we've already seen him try and pass once. It's not that easy.
And here is the battle that's going on for the lead in Shell-Am then that we're showing you. This is Gabe Arib leading Jeffrey Nunberg at the moment. Paul Lynn is steadfast in P3 at the moment. And Paul Lynn just sets the fastest lap. Is that who's that that's gone off there? I don't think that was the Ott car as we continue to focus on this lead in Shell-Am. So brilliant driving from Gabe Arib. He's defending where he needs to defend. He's making Jeff Nunberg work really, really hard. Jeff will be taking more out of his car. He is quicker by, as you can see, a tenth and a half. But it's all very well being as quick, or even quicker than the car in front of you. You've got to find a way by. And at the moment, that has been denied by Gabe Rib, who's doing a great job of defending his position in P1. And why would he not do that? Jeff Nunberg is going to have to fight hard, but we know that if Jeff Nunberg could get really on terms with him going into this turn number 11, that's where he favours an overtake, diving up the inside.
Yeah, he looked good on the brakes up at turn 7, didn't he? Closed that gap down again. Obviously, you always get the concertina effect in a big braking zone, but he does look strong on the brakes. So Gabe Harib has just got to watch out. Likewise, he's looking in front of him at one of the Coppa Shell cars that he would like to pass and get a bit of pressure off, put a car in between him and his competitor if he can. So this is Jan Bernier, Chuck Whittle, Brad Evans in a train of 3. 4.9 seconds up the road is Mitchell Green.
Mitchell Green doing a great job. And Jan Bernier, he's P2. He's under threat from Chuck Whittle, but Chuck Whittle he's in this hideous position, really, of trying to attack but defend at the same time because he's hunting and being hunted.
Yeah, you're in the sandwich, aren't you? It's not what you want to see. And look, Evans now having a little sniff at Whittle. So Evans going to move across. Maybe he's not quite close enough this time. So the trouble is, if you go for the move like we saw earlier and it doesn't come off, who was that on a slight go slow?
I think that was Gary Ott.
Gary Ott. Okay, so it was Gary that went across the grass earlier on. If you go for the move and it doesn't come off, you then lose the ground to the car in front. So it is hard work.
Let's have a look at it in replay.
He's having another look.
He was having
spin in the carousel.
It was good recovery, but he's lost 2-3 places over that.
Yeah, and then the tyres are dirty. It won't take many corners to clean those up. But yeah, how far down has it dropped him?
Well, for the moment, Bilecek is going to be able to breathe a sigh of relief, isn't he? Because the big pressure from Gary Ott has gone away now.
Yeah, I think Gary's gone. I think there's another car in between them, maybe two. Not sure. We'll see when they cross the timing line. Looking up the inside was John Lennon. The 199 does get the pass done.
In fairness, racing room was left, wasn't it, by this driver that we're on board with now, Roy Carroll, who was, very good about it. He didn't close the door. He could have done, but he didn't. Foreign Cars Italia driver who we ride on board with now as they climb uphill. It is Mitchell Green from Jan Bernier. We're watching what's going on at the moment in the P8, P9 as Kevin Orsini. Gary Ott dropped down to P10, and Jeff Nunberg continues the relentless pressure that he is placing on Gabe Harib, who is leading the race. This is the P1, P2 position in Shell Am, and the margin between them is negligible. It's like two tenths, and there you can see how the gap has seesawed between the two of them as to who has been fastest. Now, what Gabe Harib is trying to do here is he's got Alberto Duran ahead of him. Alberto is driving in the collection Shell car. He'd love to get by and give himself a little bit of a comfort margin of a Shell driver between himself and Jeff Nunberg all the way around the outside here. That's going to be brave. Is it going to work? No, not quite. Credit to Jeff Nunberg for having a go, though, Andrew.
Yeah, around the outside of Carousel would be a tricky spot, wouldn't it? But he was carrying so much speed in. I wonder if he didn't have any choice but to try and run out wide. It's hard for us to know, isn't it? As you say, with the drivers in front of them as well, you might find both these guys feel they could go quicker, but at the minute can't find a way past, and that's... You said earlier about the sandwich situation, and that's where Gabe Harib finds himself. He wants to just get some breathing space in front, bit of clear track, and can't.
The trouble is for Gabe here is if he's too bold in trying to overtake the Alberto Duran car, then he could leave himself very, very vulnerable, couldn't he, to Jeff Nunberg?
I think Nunberg would have been closer had he not had the moment in the carousel. Maybe he thought he could get around the outside, move in down there. You've got to start looking for alternative places. You know, you hear the old phrase, oh, you can't overtake there. Someone always overtakes somewhere, don't they, where you say, especially if you're an announcer, oh, you can't overtake there, and then someone will prove you wrong in that race. So apply a bit of pressure, you never know when someone's going to crumble. You
and I both know there are drivers that take very unorthodox lines in terms of overtaking where it really shouldn't happen, but it does. So it can be done. For the moment, Jeff Nunberg's just dropped back a little bit. Gabe Harib is able to just get a little bit closer to that Alberto Duran car that he is chasing down. Further back down the order, you can see lots going on. But Mitchell Green, well, he's now got 5.873 seconds to the good. Great job he's doing.
And there's just 1.3 seconds then between Bernier, Whittle and Evans from P2 down to P4. So the podium positions are hotly fought, if you like. But, massive lead for Mitchell Green. Would it be the double podium, double win? First podium, double pole, double win. Imagine that. Come here with not having taken either and go away having taken both. Second Euro racing, brilliant.
Darren Bernstein we can see here with Ram Chada right behind. This is what's going on for P8, 9 and 10 at the moment in the Shell Am drivers. Darren Bernstein driving for Ferrari of Washington and Ram Chada for Ferrari of Central New Jersey, with the margin between the two of them is just under half a second. And trying to buy into that party as well is Rachel Bayless in the 110 car.
We lost Steve Check. So Steve Check is showing on your screen. If you look top left, the little blue P means he's in the pits. He's 6 laps. We're hearing he is on track.
So maybe
he's 6 laps
issue.
down. Well, we're not sure. Yeah, he's showing us 6 laps down. So either a transponder issue, that's the device which counts the laps, or he pitted and they've sorted whatever the issue was and he's back out there. But he was P2 in. He is. He was P2 in quali behind Gabe Harib. Steve Check was. So that's a real shame. Is he going to come in?
He's coming in.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so they've taken it back out for whatever they thought. Maybe they thought it was a tiny little thing that they could sort out. And on this occasion, they can't get it sorted and ready to go again. So he's back in the pits.
Ram Chada really taking it to Darren Bernstein through turn 11, but taking it all the way around the track. This is a fantastic performance from the Ferrari Westlake driver, Mitchell Green.
It's so different to yesterday, Dave. Don't forget yesterday he was leading, there was a bit of pressure, then there was a 15-minute full course safety, then the second 15 minutes of the race he did spin.
That's Gabe Harib, and that was the leader, and Jeff Nunberg and Gabe Harib. Well, Jeff Nunberg has kept it in the right trajectory going forward, but Jeff Nunberg now the leader, and Gabe Harib is relegated. What a shame. Let's take a look. How did this happen?
So Nürnberg's in behind, looks to the inside line, goes on the brakes. Just kind of bit of contact between them. That's tricky.
That's 6 at 1, half a dozen.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe Ribbert gave him room on the inside. To be fair, he gave him a bit of room, and then not enough for the two cars. Tricky. That's not one for us to decide, I think.
Yeah, wouldn't want to be a race steward.
No. And Harib is still out there now, so don't forget Gabe Harib will try and, he's going to go after him, isn't he? But we know he's going to, he was in P17 overall, so look at him dropping down, he's now in P22. So Gabe Harib, let me see what the gap is to Nürnberg from him. He is 11.5 off Jeffrey Nürnberg, and he's got how many laps left? 15 minutes left, so he might go after him, or try to, but that's a shame.
It is a great shame.
Great fight between them too. It's good to see them, going for it out on track.
Yeah, so P4 in class for Gabe Harib. Is it feasible that he could get a podium out of this? Possibly so. He's got to get after Owens. Who have we got here in strife? It's the car of Gary Ott.
Yeah, so Gary Ott was in that battle earlier on, and we've seen him a couple of times now, haven't we, where it didn't look like it was going absolutely flat out. So has he had a problem?
I was going to say the car looks very dirty, and that will be the reason why. That was a save.
Well held, with a concrete wall on the left-hand side as well. So we came to the shot late, didn't we? And now you realise why he was going slowly. He's just having have a talking to yourself moment there. Have a little talk with yourself and go again.
So, yes, that was a heart-stopping moment, wasn't it, for him? But he saved it beautifully. He really, really did. So, as I say, Gabe Harib is got to get after Owens then to have any hope of getting wrestling a podium out of this. Now, Jan Bernier has been able to hold on to this P2 position. Chuck Whittle is getting closer now. And Chuck Whittle is almost being motivated a bit by Brad Evans, who is right behind him.
Well, he got Brad, didn't he, off the start? So Brad was P3 on the grid, and Chuck just managed to sneak through on the run between turn 1 and turn 2. I think it was maybe the exit of turn 2. And they've remained in those positions since. And at first it looked like Whittle was going to get away from Evans, and then Evans is now right with him. But Bernier can't shake them either. So these three, one of them's going to miss out on a podium, and that's the thing now, isn't it? Is who wants to go up there and spray the champagne this afternoon? Can either of them get past Bernier? And there seems to be nothing they can do about the leader, who's 6 seconds up the road.
Yes, he is. He's dropped a couple of seconds, to be fair. He was 8 seconds up the road, so yeah, we'll just keep our eyes on that. Now, Jan Bernier is going to give himself a comfort cushion of getting past the Jeffrey Keel car.
He had the door shut on him almost there, Dave. He's lost a bit of pace.
Oh, look at this,
through.
Chuck Whittle. Is he going to be able to take advantage? He was almost close enough, wasn't he?
Yeah, Bernier went defensive. Good move by him. So he came out, got slightly balked by the lap car, and then moved across and was like, you know what, if I can't take my racing line, I'm happy to lose some pace. You're not coming through. So he held the inside line. Good racecraft, good awareness after, say, losing a bit of time. Yes. There's the difference in lap times at 0.4 it was. But that last lap hampered, of course, by the lap traffic.
Mitchell has lost another second. His gap was 6, it's now down to 5 seconds. Now, what have we got? 12 minutes of the race remaining.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Who's that down bottom of the picture? There was somebody bottom of the picture there, went straight on as well. Steve Check again, guys. So Steve Check's still going round and seeing if they can sort it. Not a bad thing to do if you've got track time and you've got a little issue. Just keep taking the car out and go, right, what was it? Okay, lap traffic again. Here's me thinking we've got more action going on. So the pace differential today, we're seeing these front runners go so quickly that they are catching up. Worth noting as well, if you remember, we were speaking earlier on today, if you watched the qualifying show, about tyre life. And yesterday, because the pace was so high, some of the drivers were saying by the end of the race, it was getting pretty loose on the rear end. So some of the drivers were considering, do they dial in the traction control a little bit more? As we were saying that, Brad Evans in the background made a slight mistake on the exit of the second part of turn 7, it looked like, and just dropped a little bit of time to those cars in front. Here's your leader. What's the gap going to be? Was 5. Do you know what? Maybe it's lap traffic. We've been watching the 3 cars, haven't we, go through the traffic, and he would have gone through them 5 or 6 seconds earlier. So Mitchell Green probably just, paying a bit.
He's just having to fight his way through, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's still got the pace, hasn't he?
Looks like it. I'll check the last lap time in a second. Let's see what the gap. 5.5.
He's got more traffic to come as well. So bear that in mind. Now, Binacek appears to have got past Bruce Cleveland as well, and that will be for P5 in this.
Yeah, he was half a second quicker than Bernier on the last lap, and 0.8 quicker than Chuck Whittle. So he's still got that pace. And the other thing is, every time he passes a car, Dave, there's a car between him and these competitors.
Oh, what a great football this is. Loving this. Roy Carroll is really chasing down John Lennon ahead now. You'll recall
Lennon went defensive there, didn't he, on the run into 3-8.
Then
he's defensive again, Dave. He's all over him.
Such a turn where you are unsighted. You know, you've got to have so much confidence in your own recollection.
That right-hander they just went through is the one they all say is flat on stickers. It wasn't flat now because we're 20 minutes into a 30-minute race and you can see it was definitely not flat, just rolling off. This is one of his overtaking opportunities. I don't think he's going to stick the nose in this time. He's a little bit further back after the run through carousel. Get it to the curb, run it out over the white line. Second element of this is even tighter, and then you're onto a long stretch of quick corners through the S's.
Loving the sound of this 296 Challenge car then. Over the curbs.
The turbo wastegate sounds great on the onboard too, if you listen. Whenever they take another gear, you just hear as it dumps that pressure.
Jan Bernier really having to fight his way through the traffic here, and of course Chuck Whittle having to do exactly the same. Jan knows he needs to dispose of these backmarking. They're not backmarking, they're in their own race. But Jan needs to get by them as quickly as he can, so as not to be vulnerable to Chuck Whittle. You can see he's all over the back here. Jan Bernier trying to find a way by. This could all go very Pete Tong. Let's see how Jan is able to... It means nothing here, does it? Let's see.
Oh, in the background, makes a pass.
Oh, there's a touch!
Yeah. He's on the racing line, just not aware that the leaders are behind, so let's Jan Bernier through a P2, 3-4 battle. Chuck Whittle's got to get through now. Evans is there to try and take advantage. So goes around the outside. It's Bilicek.
It's Bilicek all the way around the outside. What a move!
And he made a pass on the previous corner to take another position. Bilicek's flying up the order. He's gone to P3.
That is a great overtake.
Both those were. He's in the background. I didn't realise who it was in the background with the lap traffic, and he got the one car. And that's Evans gone round.
He has gone around. Wow. It's all happening in the space of but a few seconds, isn't it?
That shows what the traffic can do. It's such a massive distraction. Your pace differential is huge, and particularly obviously Coppa Shell. We know that some of the drivers coming into this are coming through the program and trying to learn to drive and learn to race at this level, and the drivers at the top are almost ready to go through to the Pirelli category. So there is a differential, but part of it is dealing with that lap traffic, and they got caught up there in a very twisty part of the circuit, and it was Bilicek who absolutely made hay while the sun was shining. You have a look at the timing screen on your left-hand side here. He's about to fly up the order into P3 as he crosses the line. Boom, there it is. 2 cars in 1 lap, fantastic. And then Evans dropped it afterwards.
He's not going to be satisfied with that either, because he's chasing after Jan Bernier right now. So it's Mitchell Green, who is 5.5 seconds up the road. Then it's Jan Bernier. Then it is Bilicek then with that phenomenal move around the outside. Jarrett Bilicek doing a brilliant job. What can he do? Up against Jan Bernier now to make it P2. We've got 7.25 minutes of this race remaining. What a race this is turning out to be.
He was scything through that traffic, Dave. I've just been looking at the last laps, and last lap times, yeah, of course, they're nowhere near their best lap times because of the traffic. But Bilicek's last lap time compared to the cars around him was 1.5 to 2 seconds faster. He's just got decisive and gone for it, 199. That's...
so that will be the car of John Lennon.
Yes.
So John Lennon then is... now he was... we'll get a replay to find out exactly what happened there, but here comes Jan Bernier. Sorry, we've got to focus on this because Bilicek is now reeling him in like he's on the end of his fishing line now. And Bilicek will be feeling really confident, you know, to be able to take it around the outside there. He's clearly got supreme confidence in the car. And Jan Bernier, who is a great defensive driver, he's got Darren Bernstein now.
This is a good opportunity. If he's not quick, Bernier goes defensive, but only just in time. Bilicek round the outside, runs deep. He's almost in the tyres. Bilicek holds on. He's done well there, comes back up underneath Bernier. That's incredible.
And he's got a slingshot, hasn't he, because he was so wide, so he's lost no momentum.
Unbelievable, Dave. I thought he was going in the wall.
So did I. So did I.
6 minutes left.
Credit to Darren Bernstein, who just got out of the way of everybody.
I really thought, but Bernier there nearly got caught napping because he's catching that slower car. Just moved to the inside in time. Bilicek just went deep on the brakes, went for the round the outside.
And he nearly did it.
He did, turned in a bit early there, so He might lose a bit of time in the end. I wonder if Bilecek, maybe he's just been really looking after his tyres for the first half of the race, because he just seems to be able to do things on track that nobody else is doing right now.
Remember what I said at the beginning of the programme, there are some drivers that can be a bit unorthodox.
Yeah. Well,
you know, you would have never said to me you can overtake there, Dave.
Well, that's what I wanted to say to you earlier in the race. There's some places you just can't pass. And it's like, well, Bilecek says there are not. There are, I can pass anywhere I want.
You carry on, friend, because you've given us great entertainment. Oh, my goodness me. So, meantime, there's still plenty of
Round
other
the
things going on.
carousel. Can't pass round there, can you, Dave? No.
Roy Carroll, Kevin Orsini. I mean, this is just fantastic racing. Loving it. Let's go on board with Roy Carroll then. So here he is then, right on the back of that car of Kevin Orsini. Stay with us on board. This is brilliant. I mean, how close you run to the car in front of you. And Roy Carroll, the foreign cars Italia driver, I heard that wastegate that you were talking
you can
about.
Really hear it, can't you? Yeah. I got a message yesterday from somebody who'd been watching saying, I love the fact you can hear the waistcoat on the onboard. So listen for when they lift, you'll hear like a and that's the turbos dumping the excess pressure. Here we go. Wait for it. There it is. And it's really great. You particularly hear it through the S's where they're rolling on and off the throttle the whole time.
Sound effects brought to you in association with Andrew
Yes.
Limited alongside Mitchell Green leading by 7.5 seconds. Then it's Jan Bernier, and then it is Bilecek, who has been. Well, he's got to get driver of the day for entertainer of the day, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Jeff Nunberg, Paul Lynn and Owens are the top three in the Shell Am drivers, so you can see everything on the left-hand side of your screen. Bear in mind, if the number is ensconced in yellow, they're a Shell driver. If it's black, they are a Shell Am driver. We've only got 3 3/4 minutes. Please, can we just extend this race a little bit, because it's been
we'll go
really
another
good
10.
value.
As the tyres go off, things will get even more exciting. So let's go another 10 laps.
This is the 5P7 that's going on. Kevin Orsini then and Roy Carroll. And here is Chuck Whittle, I believe that is. Now, Bilecek appears to have gone off a bit. Is he saving it for a last lap dash?
And it's Whittle's back to them, isn't he? So, that's a spin.
That is the 125 car that's gone out of Ram Chada. And he navigates it across the grass. Now, if he gets it beached there.
Good effort with a car that low.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. He was closer. He was closer earlier on in the lap. It may be the old story of two sectors. You know, where one sector really suits one driver and one sector really suits another. Brilliant move. I wonder how many people stepped back at the fence at Casa Ferrari when Bilecek came in hot on the previous couple of laps and went all the way around the tyre wall on the outside.
How did he keep it out of that concrete?
He did very. That's a dirty part of the track, obviously offline as well. Although we have been testing a lot here this week, so this is probably the cleanest track conditions we're racing all year.
Also around us, Helen Shue in the 115 car. Can she get it recovered from there? She's got all the traffic facing. Well done, Helen. Great recovery there.
Gets it off the racing line at least.
Now, Gabe Harib is right on the back of Owens now for P3. Now, you'll remember that Gabe Harib was leading in Coppa Shell Am. He wants to take a podium if he can. I just caught that on camera. Jan Bernier continues to lead Bilecek for the moment. What have we got? 2 minutes remaining. There are still lots of battles going on. As all of a sudden, he's
good on the brakes. He's really good. We've seen it a couple of times. So this could be an attack from Bilecek this time round.
Jarrett is on a mission here, and let's see where he can position his car. Now, Jan Bernier is king of defensive driving. He can make his 296 challenge a bit wider than everybody else's.
Bernier's quick through the S's. He's just taken a little gap through the S's. Again, there is the concertina effect, but he's really quick through the S's. 1 minute 34 to go. That's your race leader, Mitchell Green, looking for the double pole, double race win this weekend.
He's about to start, presumably the last lap. Sure enough, he is. So Mitchell Green, who has been, dare I say it, faultless.
Yeah. Announcers, red flag, and that's the result for Mitchell Green. The red flags come out, and that'll be stranded cars.
Well, that will be the car. I reckon it was beached. Can you see?
Or the car that was spun in the S's. Although Helen Shue, I think it was, did a great job to get it out of the way, didn't she?
She got it go.
It's not that we're hearing, so we're waiting to hear from race control exactly what the red flag is for. But it puts an end to what was a great fun race, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, there was so much going on in that race. There really was, and I'm sorry that it's been readied, really, because I think there might have still been some activity.
I was
before the end
waiting
of the
for
race.
Belichick to have another crack at it. I feel like he was saving for one opportunity.
And I think Gabe was going to be on Owens as well. That would have been for a podium.
The marshals are out there on track. You could see them pointing in which direction to go. So sometimes if there's a red flag and say the track is blocked, you can send them down an access road and bring them down a different loop to get them home. We're looking everywhere to see what it might be.
My goodness. So there is Mitchell Green. As I said, absolutely faultless driving all weekend long. Pole positions, race wins. What a dream weekend.
Double pole, double win. Imagine that.
Got a feel for some drivers, of course, but then, as I said yesterday, I'm sure you'll recall, this great sport that we love is beautiful, but it can be oh so brutal as well, Andrew.
It's tough. It's tough, but it's so much fun.
Isn't it? I mean,
what was interesting there really was that the traffic was what caused most of the consternation for the front-running drivers. So you have lap traffic in races. Obviously, particularly a lot of these drivers might want to go on to do GT and end up in 6-hour races. And then you're dealing with traffic lap after lap after lap. It's a great training ground from that point of view, but you've got to be decisive. And we saw Belichick was extraordinarily decisive in traffic, while everyone else had, suddenly had their pace capped by a slower car, and we're like, well, what do I do here? I don't want to lose the position behind. I'm watching the position in front. Belichick's come up and gone, what are you lot up to? I'm coming through. Really, really great drive by him. But look, can't take anything away from Mitchell Green either. Double pole, double win, absolutely brilliant performance. Hadn't had either of those before this weekend. Will go home as championship leader, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, the part of racecraft is being able to deal with traffic. There are so many little elements, and there are some drivers that are really, really good at quali, and they can go out on a one lap and they can blister anybody else. There are other drivers that can thread their way through traffic, and they're really good in traffic. There are some drivers that excel in the wet. There are some drivers that prefer I can remember in my pitiful career behind the steering wheel, because a bit heavier, wet, I used to love.
Right, okay, I like it, downforce. That's what we call it, isn't it?
There's no need to be insulting.
So don't worry, mate.
No need to be insulting.
I'll show you an onboard at some point of me losing a start in Rallycross and having the entire of the screen covered in dirt and then not even really knowing where the track goes. Don't worry. What do they say? Those that can't talk about it. That's why we're in the announcing field. Yeah. But we do genuinely love the sport. That is the thing. And I've enjoyed my time. I've served my time too. Been out there and done it, and worked under the cars. I love coming from that point of view when you know what it means to somebody to get the result because you tried so desperately hard. Yeah, when I was younger, I was desperate to go and do it, and you do as much as you can. There we are.
Oh, it's Rachel Bayless.
She's okay.
She is okay. Let's take a look at this, because this is what caused the red flag. So Rachel Bayless then.
Is it the exit of... Oh, my goodness me.
Now, if proof needed serving that these 296 Challenge cars are super safe, that went in there. I mean, once you're on the grass, the dirt, the loose stuff, you're a passenger anyway. But with
that went in fast.
That hit those tyre barriers, flipped over, and Rachel is perfectly okay, as you can see from the pictures that we were able to bring you, and that is the best thing that we could see, that Rachel is perfectly okay.
I love the way she glanced back at the car as well. Everything's fine. But yes, that is the most important thing. There he is.
Mitchell Green is congratulated there. I mean, what driving? He
just checked out. He literally just drove away from everybody else. It really was an impressive performance. Now, people do sometimes, Dave, get reclassified into a different category, don't they? So, well, there we go. Yeah, tyre wall's going to need a fair bit of repair, isn't it?
So there is the car that has delivered. I mean, fair play to the team. Ferrari Westlake doing a good job with that car, the Scuderia Corsa. And just checking on the tyres was Pirelli representative. And Mitchell Green, how must he be feeling? We're about to find out, because Nina Jade has nabbed him already.
Mitchell, nobody had an answer for your dominance this weekend. Double pole, double win. Was this the race result you were expecting coming into this weekend?
Like, I've been practicing, and this is my home track, so now at next race we get to go. I'm sure Jan's going to kick my butt because he has raced at Daytona many times, and I have never even been to Daytona track. So, but no, it's fun. This is my home track, so this is awesome.
What was the most satisfying part of that race, Mitchell?
No yellow, no red until the end. I don't know. We probably got how many laps we get? 19 laps, so pretty good.
How are you feeling going into the next round? You've got to be confident.
Daytona's really fast. I've never driven on the track. I've never been there. He's going to have an advantage there for sure. But all I can do is practice on the sim now.
Well done for this weekend. Absolutely on fire.
Thanks again. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well done, Mitchell Green.
He mentioned there 19 laps. To give you a bit of a clue, yesterday he did 16 laps to take the win. Obviously, they were behind the safety car for a few laps, which will have an effect on it. But 19 laps is the same number of laps that Manny Franco and Brad Forver were doing yesterday to win Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. Wow. So he's pleased that he's got, remember, it's a half-hour race. He's got to 19 laps in that, and there was a red flag on the last one. So it's great race pace. And, interesting to see what he said, isn't it, about I've never been to Daytona.
Amazing, isn't it? And that as he said, and a lot of these drivers have full rig sims, don't they? They work at this, and you can see that in the racecraft, Andrew.
I'm waiting for him to call whatever business it is he runs tomorrow morning. Go, hey guys, I'm going to be in the sim for the next 5 weeks, so I'll see you soon.
Jeffrey Nunberg then, he was utterly determined out there on track, and once again has delivered. He's with Nina Jade Paul.
Jeff, a double win this weekend. You've got to be happy with that.
I mean, yes. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless at this point. It's super happy.
How did you find that race?
A bit easier than yesterday, but quite a battle. Quite a battle also.
What did you make on the overtake with Gabe? How did you see it?
Well, I feel like I was alongside of him, and he turned in. Gabe's a friend, so I really don't like that to happen with him. I would have preferred not to happen, but the laps before he was covering that side, and that light time he left it open, so I was close enough that I felt that we were alongside of each other.
Jeff, 2 wins this weekend. Who will you dedicate them to?
Oh, my family, my team, my wife who supports me through all of this, my coach, number one, my coach, George Herrera from HP Tech, all the guys at Ferrari of Central New Jersey, HP Tech. So a lot of people to dedicate.
Good luck next round.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
George Herrera doing a good job, Jeff. Brilliant job. And, wow, what a race. And Jeff says, and this is the thing that a lot of these drivers, they're uber competitive out there on track, but they're friends off track as well. And he says, I wouldn't want it to happen, but it did happen. Here's confirmation of the classification. Mitchell Green takes the win from Jan Bernier and Jared Bilicek. Chuck Whittle, Bruce Cleveland, good drive, Bruce. Brad Evans, Kevin Orsini, Roy Carroll, Gary Ott, and Lisa Clark. Ahead of Mike Chen, Richard Pineda, Brian Waltersdorf, Alberto Duran, of course, the best of the AM drivers, Jeff Nunberg, ahead of Paul Lynn and Michael Owens, and Ed Vortigan and Osvaldo Gallo in the mix there in P16 and 17 overall. And they were ahead of those Shell Am drivers, Paul Lynn and Michael Owens. Then it was Gabe Harib, not quite able to get back for a podium. Then John Lennon, Matthew Herfield, Melissa Kozira, Stephanie Herfield, Darren Bernstein, Rachel Bayless, Jeffrey Keel and Helen Shue, of course, we saw out early in the race. Indeed, that was the case for Ramchada, Andrew Parker, Steve Check and Louis Flory and Joe Sposato. Al Heggie, Henry Hummel and Lance Corley didn't start that race. What a race. Coppa Shell and Coppa Shell Am. So we'll take a look at the Drivers' Championship points then. And Mitchell Green already 9-point margin he's got. 73 points, of course, he leads ahead of Jan Bernier, Jared Bilicek, then Chuck Whittle, Gary Ott, Brad Evans, Mike Chen and Kevin Orsini, but a lot of racing to come in this season. Then it's Lisa Clark, Roy Carroll, Bruce Cleveland, Brian Waltersdorf, Richard Pineda, John Lennon, Alberto Duran, Ed Vortigan, Andrew Parker, Osvaldo Gallo, Joe Sposato and Henry Hummel, the 20-point scoring drivers in Coppa Shell. We will, of course, take a look at the Shell Am points as well. And there they are. Jeff Nunberg with an 11-point margin over Gabe Harib. Then it's Paul Lynn, Michael Owens, Matthew Herfield and Stephanie Herfield. Then 50 and 40.